My guest is here already. His name is Olumide Kayode Omosebi. You know him, he's a lawyer and he's also the CEO of Gnosis Health Initiative. So let's hear him first. We also have a guest in the studio, but before we let you meet our guest, of course, we're going to keep you wanting a little bit and just put you after a little bit. But Olumide, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Oni. Good to be here. Good to see you again.
Awesome. Same here. How was your week?
It was nice. My dog gave birth yesterday.
Are you dashing or you're selling?
I became a midwife.
Are you dashing or you're selling? Oh, really? I've actually never seen a dog give birth. What was the experience like?
It was just.
Did you do anything to help?
Oh, yes, I had to. I was going to work, and my son came and said, "She's giving birth. She's already." I was downstairs. I had to rush, bring the dog upstairs.
Oh,
get
okay.
towel, get Savlon, antiseptic. I was just.
Wow.
My wife was just sleeping. No, can you? She was just sleeping.
That's great. That's interesting. Okay, your dog is fine. We have new pups for sale, so you can reach out to him after as well if you're interested.
German Shepherd dogs. I just wish this wasn't.
Breed.
This was not how I intended my yesterday to be.
Nature called, you had to answer.
Anyway, good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today, very early. Today I'm going to really be fast. So, today I said I want to address the women. For those of you men, you have daughters. You will have daughters. But today I'm going to talk to the women, and next week I'm going to talk exclusively to the men. So, looking at what informed this today, looking at our cases from 2021 to 2022, for every one man, we've had almost 40 women. So if we are going by a ratio, it would be a ratio of 1 to 40. That is, for every single female case, male case, there must have been about 40 female cases. So you would have up to 80, you have just 2. But men are going through. It's really hard. But today I want to talk about the men, the women. Now, there are 4 problems that I have packed all these issues under. You will find out that the 4 topics I want to quickly address. The first issue for women is when you come to us, and I'm even including cases from the gender division of the state CID, that is Panti, so all the cases together. The first thing, when you say, so how did you marry this kind of man? The first thing, and most women would say, is that God told them to marry that man, that they prayed. It is so rampant that it was more spiritual in selection than normal interpersonal relationships. They were not really friends, but it was always a God factor. The second set of issues are single mothers, women who became single mothers. They were married, eventually they were driven out of the house, and now they are asking for us to support them. Why? Because they don't have any job. Why don't they have any job? They had a job, but when they got married, their husbands told them to leave the job. Some got married and some husbands frustrated the job, would not allow them to probably set up a shop or something. So the second set of people were those that were women who were in marriages who had to leave and are now single mothers without a job. They left work for their marriage. Their marriage took their jobs. The third set of women are women who had properties, but the husbands claimed the property. Now they don't have where to stay. For example, those that bought property and put in the names of their husbands, that is Mr. and Mrs. So, but if they paid for the property, or they paid 70%, 80%, There was one of the cases that I'm handling. It's even a very ridiculous pastor. The one I told you is an assistant by an AP in one of these churches. They bought a car. The car was 505 or 500,000 naira. The woman paid 460,000. The man paid just 30,000 and took the car. That it was his own. Now, what happened was, because it's my husband, she allowed him put his name in the title documents. That it is my husband, it is for us. So now the abuse got to such an extent that she had to leave the house. The abuse was so much. She left the house. Now she's with 2 children. And she was like, okay, let me even be using this car to be dropping it because she's in custody of the children. But the man took the car away and said it is his car. And she's like, how much did you pay for the car? Let me give you your 30,000. The man said no, and he went to hide the car somewhere. So this woman is from one bus to the other with 3 children, with 2 children, but she has a car. So when we are talking about properties, they lose properties because of the title that they allowed to be put. Meanwhile, it was their sweat. These 3 categories I want to talk about. Well, let me just include 4. Then the ones with the multiple pregnancies, the people that are in abusive marriages and they just keep giving birth. You see them 5, 6, 7 children, and then something happens, they have to leave, and they are carrying 5, 6 children. Okay, let me start. I tell people that, number one, before you get married, you must date. You must know the character of a person. But there is a very strange phenomenon now that is happening where people move away from character and look to a spiritual angle of a person. A gentleman, this has been, in fact, I shared my phone conversation with someone. He had been dating this girl, they were really in love, and it came to a time that he proposed that they should marry, and she said the gentleman should wait. Then she and her mother went to meet a pastor to pray, and the pastor said, this is not your husband. That there's a man who has not really said anything, that the guy that is just casual showing, but hasn't said anything. They said that is her husband. So now the girl is really in love with this guy, but because they have told her that this is not the person for you, she's now going to make herself available to a man who has not declared any intention, because that was what a pastor said. It happens all the time. We prayed, and now one thing you have to first of all understand, ladies and gentlemen, let us even break down this pattern of spiritual selection. This is something that affects Christians mostly, as no other religion, to the best of my knowledge, makes spiritual selections the way Christians do. Let us let us even bring the Bible to the fore. I'm going to be very quick. If you have a Bible, please just hang around. From Genesis to Revelations, God never told anyone that this is your husband or your wife. There has been no dream, prophecy, vision, word of wisdom, or word of knowledge in the Bible that is telling or that has told anybody that this is your husband or this is your wife. I placed this challenge about 7 years ago, and I came out and I asked clergy. I had put it to some of the representatives of the CAN, I think it was CAN at that time, that they should show me where in the Bible God told somebody that this is your husband or wife. It has not been, but they keep on saying, but God gave Adam Eve. So they use the story of Adam and Eve as the excuse that it was God that gave Eve, the wife, to Adam. So I want to break that down, that myth, that thing that is ruining the lives of people. Let us break it down now. So when you go to, I'm sorry for those that are not Christians, just bear with me. I'm coming to the one that concerns you. Genesis 2:22. And the rib which God had taken from a man made he a woman and brought her unto the man. So God brought her unto man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman. Genesis 2:24 says, Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be called one flesh. Now who said this? Who said this? Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be called one flesh. Who said this? It was Adam. Genesis 2:23 says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, he shall be called woman. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. So the first person in the Bible that used the word wife was not God, but was Adam. What God said was, I would make a companion. And then he brought the companion, and Adam called her wife. So God gave him a companion, and he made the companion his wife. The person that set the tradition for the institution of marriage was Adam, because here it shows you in Genesis 2:24 from 2:23, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, and she shall be called woman. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. That was Adam speaking. So it was Adam that set the institution of marriage. And he was the first person to use the word wife. Are we going on the commercial?
No, not yet. I want to interject a bit. So what was the essence of God bringing Eve forth if it was not for union
marriage
and marriage and multiplication?
Now look at this. He said a companion. Have you checked the interpretation of a companion? Have you checked the meaning of a companion in the dictionary? Is a companion a wife? He said.
I'm sure the dictionary definition of companion came way after that time.
No. Then that means that all of English language here, we should now take it that it did not exist. So we cannot quote the Bible according to what you have just said. We can no longer quote the Bible because the English then was different from the English now.
Okay, so go ahead and define.
So companion means, in fact, the first definition of a companion here has to do with an animal, a person or animal with whom one spends a lot of time. That is the Oxford definition of a companion. And he said, helpmate. So why was wife there? If God simply could have wanted him for wife, why didn't God say, let us create for him a wife? Why did he use companion? Why did he use helpmate when he could have easily said wife? Adam was the first person to use the word wife. Now, let me prove this further to you. In Genesis 3, when God said, who told you you were naked? This was after they had eaten the fruit. He said, who told you you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree I commanded you not to eat? Genesis 3:12. And the man said, the woman who you gave me. He did not say the wife that you gave me. He said, the woman who thou gave to be with me gave me, and I ate. Meanwhile, he just called her wife. Why did he not call than the wife whom you gave me? He knew that God did not give him a wife. God gave him a woman, and he made the woman the wife. So you can confirm from here that even Adam said, the woman you gave me, not the wife you gave me. So for those that use the story of Adam to confuse people that a wife is spiritually selected, there is no record of this in the Bible. There is no record that God gave a wife. There is none. In prophecy, in dream, in words of wisdom. And people should stop this madness. I recently just finished a case where the man had been in admission at the Yaba Psychiatric Hospital for 6 years. They did not let this woman know